Salutations speakers, this is your host Maji Speaks, returning with another topic. Today's topic, we will be exploring Kamala Harris and her ethnic and cultural origin, and how she used the fluidity of such to get her way throughout her campaign in the 2024 election. We'll cover a decent amount of things throughout, but the main things I really want to shift focus towards is how subjective race really is, how society has applied objectivity to the racial construct out of convenience, and how we subconsciously apply this historically racist standard to our everyday lives. With that being said, let's dive on in. Let me make it clear that I am in no way an authority figure to determine who is black and who isn't. This video is coming from a pro-colorblind lens and is my opinion as to why I believe the social construct of race actually does more harm than good. Kamala Harris, both in the current election season and the 2020 election season, has used her racial background to persuade voters more towards her side of the aisle. But she's really made this appeal to the black community, but the reception she's received have had an obvious mix of reactions in the community. On one end, you'll have black people who are in full support of her campaign, but on the other end, you'll have black people who feel as though her blackness is nothing more than a virtue signal to attract more votes. There has even been discussion within black forums on whether or not she's even qualified to be black. According to her familial background, her father, Donald J. Harris, is an African-American man, whereas her mother, Shyamala Gopalin, is an Indian-American woman. This information is crucial to the conclusion I'm going to draw towards the end of this video. Without question, is it clear that Kamala Harris's parents have different cultural and ethnic backgrounds. So why exactly is it that she's so sure that she is a black woman? And is it possibly inconvenient for her to identify outside of that? The answer is simple. The historically racist standard, hypodescendant, or in simpler terms, the one-drop rule. Well, what is the one-drop rule? According to Wikipedia, it was an assertion that any person with even one ancestor of black ancestry or one drop of black blood is considered Negro or colored in historical terms. This comes from hypodescent, which is the automatic assignment of children of a mixed union to the subordinate group. Is there any potential that this assertion of race has creeped into our everyday mindset in how we identify ourselves or even each other? Analytically, yes there is. So what is the rational conclusion? It is to simply call it for what it is. Kamala Harris is a biracial woman. A mixture of two completely different racial, ethnic, and cultural backgrounds is what makes one biracial. However, the one-drop rule has become so prevalent in our mindsets as a collective of the West that we take all these things race-related at face value without addressing the nuances. Let's also not forget that a lot of us in the black community have experienced at some point in our early stages of lives being called whitewashed. We've all heard the sayings, you talk white, or you act white, or you don't do so-and-so, so you're not black enough. This extreme level of gatekeeping blackness, which is what has historically harmed the black community more than we want to admit. But in the case of Vice President Harris, her strategy as a politician running for office has had the black community in a chokehold. Anyone that looks like us, we say is one of us without investigating further into said background. We've fallen for this trap many times before, whether it was Shaun King or Rachel Dolezal. The black community has allowed bad faith actors to pretend to grow up with the same experiences as everyone else. This is in no way me gatekeeping what qualifies this. This is simply my observation on how we collectively view race and if it's honestly setting us back. So where does my opinion lie, you might ask? Well, based on what was already stated, I don't think that it's right to conveniently refer to a biracial person as one or the other. Kamala is a biracial woman, no either or. She's just as much a black woman as she is an Indian woman and vice versa. Plus, you can tell that she's even disingenuous with her identity, given that she was caught code switching twice in two different campaign rallies.
Hello to all our divine nine brothers and sisters. Am I a union member? For the 5-day work week, you better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation.
This is also why I believe the West should gear more towards a racially colorblind society, where we culturally and systematically remove race from the front line of our cultural values. This is such a great solution to our racial divide, it's no wonder the left wants to convince the average American that being race neutral is a bad thing. Whether you're left, right, or center like myself, there is zero excuse in 2024 why Americans overall have such a hyperfixation on race, so much so that we've allowed a presidential candidate to use her race to come so far in the election without any critique. It's about time that we leave racial division behind and move towards a culture where we can all celebrate our differences while treating each other equally based on merit, and stop making race the center of discussion every single time an issue arises. That's all I have for today. Any thoughts you might have for this video, agreements, disagreements, questions, leave in the comments below. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on the matter. Also, if you're new to the channel, welcome, and don't forget to subscribe and like the videos, as it gives me more incentive to make these types of videos in the future. That all being said, peace and love to you all, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.